who will the next leader of Fine Gael be? Simon Coveney has the support of the rural TDs and his right-wing credentials are impeccable. His housing policies have seen the homelessness crisis escalate and more money in the pockets of the big developers, the landlords and the vulture fund. Whereas Leo Varadkar has tried to prove his right-wing credentials by setting up a campaign against welfare fraud. The most fraudulent thing about the campaign is that his figures for welfare fraud are made up. But then no matter who succeeds Enda Kenny, they will still be leading a Thatcherite neoliberal party. Just exactly who are Fine Gael? Fine Gael was formed on the 3rd of September 1933 as a coalition of 3 different parties. The first was Fine Gael. Fine Gael were the first government of Ireland. They emerged from the pro-treaty conservative wing of the IRA. When one of their ministers, J.J. Walsh, resigned from the government in 1927, he said it had been taken over by the most reactionary elements in Irish society. All these conservative forces rallied around Fine Gael because they wanted to bring the Irish Revolution to an end. The second party that formed the coalition that became Fine Gael was the National Centre Party, previously known as the Farmers' Party. This was a party of the big, wealthy farmers. The third and most controversial party was the Blue Shirts, also known as the National Guard. The Blue Shirts were Ireland's very own fascists. Owen O'Duffy, who was police commissioner for the Fine Gael government, set up a paramilitary outfit and their ambition was to create a fascist Ireland. Owen O'Duffy, the leader of the Blue Shirts, became the first president of Fine Gael when they were launched in September 1933. In December 1934, 1 year after the launch of Fine Gael, Owen O'Duffy attended the Montreux Fascist Conference. The Irish rich were quite happy to rally around Fianna Fáil because Fianna Fáil was able to provide stability. And so Fine Gael, just like the Irish Labour Party, were consigned to the margins of politics. This continued until 1948, when we had our first coalition government. Fine Gael went into government with the Labour Party and other smaller parties. It was the 1948 government that declared Ireland a republic, which is quite ironic considering Fine Gael's origins. But when Noel Browne, a socialist who was a member of the government, who eradicated TB in Ireland and tried to bring forward a mother and child scheme to give limited access to free healthcare, he was opposed not only by the church, but also by ministers in the coalition government. No one was willing to stand up to Archbishop McQuaid and stand up to the church's line. Noel Browne was forced to quit. When the coalition government fell, Fianna Fáil returned to power and then implemented some of the proposals from Noel Browne's healthcare scheme. But the difference was that Fianna Fáil made sure that we would have a 2-tier health system. Fine Gael were back in coalition on several other occasions, each time with the Labour Party. This is one of the secrets of right-wing domination of politics in Ireland, the weakness of our Labour Party. In the 1960s, there was a huge surge of working class militancy. By the end of the 60s, there were 1.5 million strike days lost in Ireland. Brendan Corish, the leader of the Labour Party, said that the 70s would be socialist. He said they'd never again go into coalition with Fine Gael because Fine Gael were a party of free enterprise. But their socialism didn't mean very much because by 73 they were back in coalition with Fine Gael. In fact, the 73 to 77 Fine Gael Labour government paved the way for a huge resurgence in support for Fianna Fáil. In 1977, the economy fell off a cliff. Fianna Fáil were able to use both the failings of the coalition government and the economic situation to return to power with one of the biggest votes they ever got. This betrayal by the Labour Party led working class people to vote for Charles Haughey, a man so corrupt he bought his own island. The domination of Irish politics by 2 right-wing parties meant that the debate never went beyond the bounds of tinkering with the market. This was the case again from 82 to 87 when the country fell into deep recession. Fine Gael and Labour responded with austerity budgets that slashed public spending and attacked health. Fine Gael presented themselves as more progressive than Fianna Fáil. They would be economically right-wing but socially progressive. Garret Fitzgerald presented himself as being on the liberal wing of Fine Gael. He oversaw several austerity budgets. He also took a harsh reactionary stance towards the H-Block campaigns. But Fine Gael today still try to win votes based on that myth that you can be economically right-wing and socially liberal. First of all, Fine Gael aren't that liberal. What about women's rights? But also, how can you say that you're socially progressive when your economic policies undermine any aspirations that women and workers in general have? It was revealed this week by Women's Aid. Women said the main reason they stayed with abusive partners was because of poverty. They couldn't afford to leave. Because the mainstream parties know that their vote is dropping, they realise that they need to rely on a conservative vote. Therefore, they turn to the church and the most reactionary and right-wing and conservative elements in Irish society. We need to sweep out the establishment parties, both Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. We need to build a new radical movement of working class people in this country and finally build an Ireland worth living in.